This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
The Capture of the Missouri Kid, 1902. When called upon to relate the most thrilling episode of my career as a detective, I could think of none to compare with the robbery of a little bank in Union, Missouri. I was seated in my office one morning, at a time when I was in charge of the Pinkerton Agency in New York, when this telegram greeted me. Vault and safe of First National Bank of Union, Missouri, blown with nitroglycerine. Loss, $15,000 cash, $100,000 negotiable securities. Evidently work of first-class yeggmen. No clues. Description meager. Undecided whether 2 or 4 men participated. More definite information later. Investigation progressing quickly and thoroughly. The interior equipment of the Bank of Union was modern in every respect. Its safe and vault as up-to-date as one would expect to find in a city 10 times its size. The vault was a splendid type of the double steel fire and burglar-proof door augmented with a pressure bar. If a yeggman, a thief who specializes in bank safes, described it, he would say the vault was a double-decker and the safe harnessed, meaning the pressure bars were in place in addition to the ingenious combination of time locks. More often than not, the bank had between $30,000 and $40,000 in cash in its vaults and negotiable securities to the value of $150,000. The bank was a source of wonder to the visiting farmers as they peeked through the bank windows every Saturday morning, and one and all took deep pride in its wonderful fortification against robbers. If one of them hazarded the opinion that that bank can be cracked, he would be set upon by an indignant mob, which in chorus would cry, "It can't be did, by gravy." Christmas, the year of the robbery, fell on Thursday. At 1:30 on the morning of Saturday, December 27th, 1902, Hattie, the daughter of Mrs. Steinberger, who lived directly behind the bank, awakened her mother to say that a cupboard inside their neighbor's apartment must have toppled over, as she had heard a terrific crash. At the same moment, Bush, a hardware man with a store opposite the bank, began seeing and hearing things. Distinctly he saw, as he peered from his window, a form moving about in the bank, and every once in a while a dark lantern would flash its rays through the bank windows. Bush raised his bedroom window to give the alarm. No sooner had he raised his window, however, than a fusillade of bullets whistled past his head and buried themselves in the walls of his bedroom. It seemed to Bush and the terrified residents of his home that at least half a dozen men were shooting at once. He ran to a side window, which commanded a view of the interior of the bank, and what he saw confirmed his worst fears. He was held spellbound by the speed with which the man or men in that bank worked. Their movements were like those of cats, so quickly did they spring from place to place. Bush slipped down into his store, intending to get a shotgun and cartridges from his stock, and open fire on the intruders. However, the alert and vigilant outside man employed by the yeggs had divined his purpose, for in a jiffy the weapons of this man belched forth a merciless fire which was only drowned by the ear-splitting roar of an explosion directly in front of the safe, all of which Bush could see as he peered from his window. Windows in nearby houses were shattered, and men, women, and children sprang from their beds in terror. In a second the whole town was awake, all mystified by the blinding blue and yellow flash, which seemed to streak from the bank windows. Smoke was oozing from the bank's front door and windows. The side door gingerly opened, and the form of a man emerged. He evidently came out to get air and escape the deadly fumes and gases within. All the while the outside man kept up a pitiless fire from his 2 .45 Colt revolvers, and all those who had had the temerity to run into the street soon scurried for cover, as the bullets from the lookout's pistols whizzed by their ears.